Hey everyone! Looks like we're taking a deep dive into the art of negotiation today.
Yeah, from saving money and boosting your confidence
Hmm.
to handling those tricky situations like buying a car or even negotiating your salary. The material you sent is packed with tips.
Oh, absolutely. It looks like you're on your way to becoming a master deal maker.
It's interesting how many people go into a negotiation thinking it's a win-lose situation.
Yeah.
But what's great about these sources is they actually emphasize this more collaborative approach,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
finding those solutions that work for everybody involved.
Absolutely. And it really links back to that idea of BT&A, right?
Yeah.
Your best alternative to a negotiated agreement.
Okay.
And the stronger your BATNA is, the more leverage you have. It's like having this secret weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about knowing where that walkaway point is. Like, what's the best thing that could happen if this deal falls through?
Exactly.
And knowing that gives you that confidence to say no if you're not happy with the terms.
Okay, let's jump right into this with a classic scenario. Picture yourself at a bustling London market.
Oh, I love those markets.
You spot this vintage leather jacket. It's like calling your name. But the price tag, it's a bit steep.
Okay, well, this is where you really have to understand how anchoring works.
Okay.
That first price that gets mentioned in a negotiation that sets the stage for the whole thing, you know?
I see.
It's like dropping an anchor and everything else revolves around that.
So if the seller starts high,
Exactly.
you're already kind of playing catch up.
Exactly. And this is why making the first offer is so crucial. And don't be afraid to be bold with it.
Right.
Start lower than you're actually aiming for.
Okay.
That gives you that wiggle room to negotiate.
I see.
And it makes the seller feel like they've won something in the process, which is a win for you.
It's like that psychological trick where you show somebody like the most expensive option first.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the one that you actually want seems like a total bargain in comparison.
Yes, that's framing. You know, you're basically presenting the negotiation in a way that benefits you.
Mhm.
It's subtle, but once you master it, it can make a huge difference.
Okay, so let's talk about some actual phrases that we can use.
Sure.
Now, the sources mentioned a bunch of classics like, what's your best price? Or, could you do any better on that?
Those are great starting points. But honestly, it's not just what you say, it's how you say it.
Okay.
Think about an actor delivering their lines.
Mm-hmm.
Intonation, confidence, even a little humor can make all the difference.
So I shouldn't just like mumble, what's your best price? While staring at my shoes.
No, 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 no. Stand tall, make eye contact, and deliver those phrases with this friendly but firm tone.
Okay.
And don't forget, a smile can work wonders.
Right.
It really puts people at ease, helps create that collaborative atmosphere.
Okay, I'm ready to channel my inner negotiator. What's your best price?
There you go. You see. Now, imagine that vintage jacket we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
It's listed at 200 pounds, but you're really aiming for 150. How would you approach that?
Okay. Let me think. Excuse me. This leather jacket is absolutely beautiful. What's your best price on it?
Okay, let's say I'm the seller. Well, it's genuine leather. You can tell just by the quality. I'm asking 200 pounds for it.
I understand it's high quality, but my budget's more around 150. Would you be willing to come down a bit?
Perfect. You acknowledge the seller's point about the quality
Mm-hmm.
before you gave your counteroffer.
Yeah.
That's a really good tactic.
It's like I'm showing respect.
Yes,
And preventing them from feeling like I'm just dismissing their product.
exactly. Now, let's say the seller comes back with something like, I could do 180 for you. What would you do then?
Ooh, let's see. That's closer, but I was really hoping to stay around 160. Could we maybe meet in the middle at 170?
That's a classic move, and it often works. You're showing that you're willing to compromise
Right.
and to find a solution that works for both of you.
It's a win-win. We both get something we want, and nobody feels like they lost.
Exactly. Now remember, if the seller is just not budging and you're not comfortable with their final offer,
Mm-hmm.
don't be afraid to walk away. That BATNA, that alternative option, gives you the power to say no and move on.
It's all about knowing your worth,
Exactly.
and not settling for less.
Yes. Okay, but this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Negotiation isn't one size fits all. Those cultural nuances play a huge role in how these interactions go.
Yeah, the material mentioned how in some cultures, haggling is expected,
Yeah.
while in others, it's seen as rude.
Exactly.
Mhm.
For instance, in many parts of Asia, bargaining is a big part of the whole shopping experience.
Oh, I see.
It's a social thing, bit of a dance between the buyer and the seller.
Mm-hmm.
But in places like the UK, it's more common in informal settings,
Mhm.
like at markets.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it's usually subtle and low-key.
Okay, so if you're traveling or dealing with people from different cultures,
Yes.
it's crucial to do your homework.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a mark of respect and shows you're willing to adapt to their customs.
Right.
You can really make or break a deal, especially in those cross-cultural negotiations.
Okay. Are you ready to take our negotiation game to the next level?
Hit me with it. Let's dive in. These are going to add that extra layer of sophistication to your toolkit.
All right.
Instead of just fixating on the price, think about adding value to the whole deal.
Okay. Tell me more. I love that.
For example, you could say something like, if I buy 2 jackets, would you give me a discount? Or, that's a bit more than I was planning on spending, but I'm really interested. Could we maybe work out a payment plan?
Right. So you're not just focused on lowering the price, you're being creative and finding solutions that work for both sides.
Exactly. And you know what else can be super powerful?
What?
Silence.
Oh, interesting.
A well-placed pause after the seller gives their offer. It can do wonders.
Like in a movie where the hero just stays quiet
Yeah.
and the villain just spills their whole evil plan because they can't handle the silence.
Yeah, silence creates this anticipation. It can make the seller more likely to sweeten the deal.
Okay, I love that. Let's put these new moves to the test. How about a car negotiation this time?
All right, I like it.
Okay, so I'm the customer eyeing this sleek new ride. You're the salesperson. Hi, I'm really impressed with this model. It's got all the features I'm looking for. What kind of deal can we work out here?
Well, this one's top of the line, as you can see. The sticker price is £25,000.
Ooh, that's a little more than I was hoping to spend, but I'm very interested. What kind of flexibility do we have on the price? Are there any incentives or maybe a package deal?
Excellent. You expressed interest, but you also signaled that you're not just going to pay full price.
Right, right. It's all about striking that balance. I want to show them I'm serious, but also that I'm a smart negotiator.
Exactly. You're framing it as a collaboration,
Right.
finding a solution that works for both of us. Now, I, the salesperson, might say, we do have some promotions running at the moment. What were you hoping to stay within?
Okay. Realistically, my budget's closer to 23,000. But I'm open to exploring options if we can make the numbers work.
Good. You stated your budget clearly, but you also left that door open for negotiation.
Right.
You didn't just shut it down with a no.
Yeah.
You're inviting that conversation.
Keeping the dialogue open and seeing what's possible.
Precisely. Now, I might counter with something like, I understand your budget constraints. How about we throw in those free floor mats, a full tank of gas, and see if we can meet somewhere in the middle on the price?
Ooh, those freebies are tempting.
Right.
It makes the deal so much more attractive, even if the price isn't exactly where I want it.
That's the power of value-added negotiation. You're not just fighting over the price tag, you're expanding the entire pie.
I'm realizing now that negotiation's about so much more than just getting a discount.
Yeah,
It's about being strategic, being creative, and building relationships.
absolutely. And remember, even if you don't end up taking this specific deal,
Right.
you've gained experience and honed your skills for the next time.
This deep dive is already a game changer.
And we've just scratched the surface. There's still so much more to explore. The psychology behind persuasion, the subtle art of body language,
I can't wait.
but we'll save those for later.
This is amazing. I feel so much more empowered now.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
Remember, the power to negotiate is right there inside you.
I love that.
Yeah. All right, let's switch gears a bit and talk about some of those common mistakes people make when they're negotiating.
Okay.
One of the biggest ones is being too aggressive, getting confrontational.
Yeah, it's like that saying, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar.
Exactly. Nobody wants to feel like they're being bullied into a deal.
Right.
Remember, we're going for collaboration here, not conflict.
It's about finding that win-win, right? Where everybody feels good about the outcome.
Exactly. And try not to get too emotionally attached to the outcome.
Okay.
It can really cloud your judgment, make you more likely to overpay or accept a deal that's not really in your best interest.
It's that feeling when you walk out of a store and you're like, wait, did I just pay too much for that?
Exactly. A clear head and a detached perspective, that's crucial in any negotiation.
Okay, I like that.
Now let's talk about the power of language.
Ooh, yes. Let's get into that.
Certain words can subtly influence the whole negotiation in your favor.
Okay, tell me more about these power words.
So words like value, fair, reasonable, and flexible can create a more positive, collaborative atmosphere.
I see how those words would set a much different tone than something like cheap or demanding.
Exactly. It's all about framing the conversation in a way that appeals to both sides.
Right.
For example, instead of saying, I want a lower price,
Mm-hmm.
you could say, I'm looking for a fair price that reflects the value I'm getting.
Okay, I see.
Or instead of
Right.
saying, this is my final offer,
Right, yeah.
you could try, I'm flexible, but this is what makes sense for me right now.
Right, it's all about those subtle shifts in language.
Exactly. It's finding those right words to get your message across without sounding too demanding or unreasonable.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's tackle a big one. Salary negotiation.
Oh, yeah.
The stakes can feel really high in those situations.
They definitely can.
Yeah.
It's a high-stakes situation for a lot of people.
Oh,
But remember, all those same principles still apply.
okay.
Preparation, confidence, and clear communication.
Right.
And don't just focus on the money.
Hmm.
Think about those benefits, perks, growth opportunities, the whole package.
So let's say I've got a job offer,
Okay.
but the salary is a bit lower than I was hoping for. How do I even start that conversation?
Well, first of all, do your research.
Yeah.
Know those industry standards, what similar positions are paying.
Yeah. Knowledge is power in that situation, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then when you have the conversation, be confident, polite, and focus on the value you bring to the company. You could say something like, I'm really excited about this opportunity, and I'm confident I can make a big contribution to the team. Based on my experience and the research I've done, I believe a salary of your desired salary would be more in line with the market rate for someone with my skills and experience.
Okay, that sounds really professional and assertive.
Exactly. And if they can't meet your salary expectations, you can always negotiate for other benefits.
Right.
More vacation time, flexible work arrangements, professional development opportunities, all those things.
That's a good point. It's not always about the money. Sometimes those other benefits can be just as valuable.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that package that works for both you and the employer.
You know, after all this talk about negotiation, I'm feeling a surge of confidence.
I love it. And remember, practice makes perfect. The sources recommend practicing those phrases in front of a mirror or even role-playing with a friend. The more you practice, the more confident you'll feel when it's time for the real deal.
It's like anything else, right? The more you do it, the better you get.
Absolutely. And it's
Well-
not just about what you say, right?
Right.
Body language, it plays a huge role in how we come across during a negotiation.
It's true. Nonverbal cues can be just as important as what we're actually saying.
So what are some key body language tips to keep in mind?
Okay, let's dive into that.
First and foremost, eye contact.
Okay, yeah.
It shows you're engaged and confident.
Right. Being present, attentive, not staring at your phone or fidgeting.
Exactly. And don't underestimate a genuine smile.
Yeah.
It can really help create that positive and collaborative atmosphere.
Smiling makes you seem more approachable and trustworthy.
And good posture. Stand tall, shoulders back. Projects confidence and authority.
So even if I'm feeling nervous inside, it's all about projecting that sense of calm and collected confidence.
Exactly. And be mindful of those hand gestures. Use them to emphasize your points, but don't go overboard.
Okay, finding that balance between being expressive and professional.
Right. And sometimes the most powerful nonverbal cue is a well-placed pause.
Ooh, the power of silence.
It gives you a chance to gather your thoughts, and it lets the other person process what you've said.
Silence can be golden.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It can create anticipation and make your words have more impact.
I never realized how much strategy goes into nonverbal communication.
It's an art, but it can make all the difference.
This deep dive has been eye-opening. I feel like I've learned a whole new set of communication skills.
That's great to hear. And remember, practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
The more you use these techniques, the more natural they'll become.
Okay, so the sources suggest starting small, right? Maybe try these techniques at a local market or when buying something online.
Those are perfect low-stakes environments to practice. It's like a training ground.
Right.
And as you get more comfortable, you can gradually work your way up to those bigger negotiations, like asking for a raise or buying a car.
Yeah, it's a journey, not a destination.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your wins, learn from any setbacks.
This is so empowering. I'm seeing negotiation as a life skill now.
That's the spirit. It's about effective communication, understanding everyone's needs, finding solutions that work.
It's about standing up for yourself, but also respecting the other person's point of view.
Exactly. It's a bit of a dance, but with practice and the right techniques, you can become a master negotiator in all areas of your life.
This deep dive has given me so much to think about. I'm inspired, ready to tackle those tricky conversations.
That's what we like to hear. Now, let's think a little bigger. How can these negotiation principles be applied beyond buying and selling?
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
Well, think about it. Negotiation is about communication, understanding, finding solutions. Could those skills be useful in your personal relationships too?
I've never thought about it that way, but it makes sense. We negotiate all the time in our personal lives, right? Whether we realize it or not.
Exactly. Dividing chores with your partner, making vacation plans with friends, even resolving disagreements with family. These are all situations where negotiation skills can come in handy.
So instead of getting into arguments or feeling resentful, we can use these techniques to find compromises that everyone's happy with.
Exactly. Win-win situations, even in your personal life.
It's amazing how these principles can apply to so many different areas.
And here's another thought.
Okay.
Could these principles be useful at work, beyond just salary negotiations?
Yeah, absolutely. Think about working on projects with colleagues, managing expectations with your boss, or even dealing with conflicts in the workplace.
It's all about being your own advocate, communicating your needs effectively, and finding solutions that benefit everyone.
Wow, this is really powerful stuff. I'm feeling so much more confident and empowered.
That's what it's all about. Remember, practice is key. The more you use these techniques, the better you'll get at them.
I'm ready to put them to the test. From the market to the boardroom to my own living room, I'm going to embrace negotiation as a valuable life skill.
We're here to support you every step of the way. Remember, you have the power within you to negotiate your way to success.
So we've covered so much in this deep dive.
We have from basic phrases to cultural differences to the importance of body language.
Yeah, and it's really cool how these skills apply to so much more than just like closing deals or getting that raise.
It's true, they're useful in all sorts of areas of life.
Right. Think about negotiating bedtime with your kids, working on projects with colleagues, or even smoothing things over with friends and family when there's a disagreement.
Exactly. It's about finding that middle ground, understanding each other's perspectives, and coming up with solutions that everyone can get behind.
Absolutely. And remembering that it's a journey, right? The more we practice these skills, the better we'll get at using them in the moment.
That's the key. It becomes more and more natural over time.
And I love how you emphasize staying curious because it's not about knowing it all. It's about being open to learning and adapting to whatever comes our way.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment a little. See what works for you in different situations.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right. Negotiation is a skill that you refine over time.
Absolutely. Well, this deep dive has been a game changer for me. I feel like I have a whole new set of tools to handle all those tricky situations.
I'm so glad to hear that. Remember, the power to create success through negotiation is within you.
So well said. This has been incredibly insightful.
It's been a pleasure diving into this with you.
Until next time, happy negotiating, everyone.